AJ Simmons here with another great interview for you guys. Today, we got a long anticipated one. We got my man, the guy you keep hearing about all the time, Mr. Sean Richards checking in. What's up, Sean?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on board today, man. I appreciate the time you take out of your schedule to, interview me. It's a pleasure. I've been wanting to come on board and share some of my experiences with you and a lot of people about how I got into business. So this is a wonderful opportunity. I'm with the boss here, AJ Simmons of CBN Network. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. So let's go ahead and you know how we started off. Paint the picture for us. Tell us who you were before you started the cleaning company and what you were doing before you even got started.
All right. Again, my name is Sean Richards. Before I started in the cleaning business, I worked a job in industrial supplies for about 10 years as an associate. Decent job, I would say, a really good job. A lot of people would, relish a job like that. Paid great money, but I wanted much more than just being able to work for somebody. I wanted to pursue my dreams and my passions and have an opportunity to own my own business. So I worked that job for a while, 10 years, I would say, fed my family, took care of my business, provide a good living for my wife and my kids. But, I was stuck. And I wanted a way out, so I started searching, and I stumbled upon a lot of videos that you were making in your I think is the Everybody Eats podcast at the time. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. So what made you choose the cleaning industry? Was it pretty much those videos I was making?
Yeah, well, so I had some prior experience when I was in college in the cleaning industry. I worked as a as a cleaner for a contractor that I knew out of New York City, and I did that for a while. I found that very easy. So I decided, after I left that job, I graduated from college. I started working for a company called Fresh Direct, and I just took those skills as a cleaner into that business and started. They hired me from the ground up. I worked myself up through the ranks as a supervisor, and I ended up assuming about two responsibilities simultaneously: cleaning manager, and I actually developed the cleaning procedures for that facility, as well as a production supervisor. So I had prior cleaning experience, but I got greedy. I just went to chase the money, so I left that job as well, and I got myself into industrial supplies, and realizing, after you make a certain amount of money, that you become stuck and there's no life fulfillment. So I started looking for an avenue. And the first things that came into my mind when I was looking to start a business was, wait, you got cleaning experience, man. That would be ideal for you. So I just started gravitating towards that end of the spectrum.
Okay. Now, how long ago did you start your cleaning company?
That would be, I would say, going on 16 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, about 16 months ago, man. Yeah.
And I know you started with a franchise, but the franchise that you started with was a little different than the typical franchise that we see out here. Can you talk a little bit about the franchise that you're with?
Yeah, so I'm with a franchise by the name called Next Clean Specialty Cleaning Solutions, and we are healthcare specific cleaning company, a specialty cleaning company. We service the healthcare industry, hospital networks, urgent care system, doctors' offices, and we provide project work as far as helping them get ready for what they call the Joint Commission surveys in hospitals. So it's the police officers of the healthcare industry, and they actually go into facilities every 3 to 4 years for inspections. At that time, facilities need a lot of help getting ready for those surveys. So we come in and we provide a deep cleaning service for those healthcare facilities, helping them get prepped for those Joint Commission surveys and just the general upkeep of their facility on a whole. Also, on the I would say a secondary service we provide is a recurring everyday cleaning of the healthcare, of the urgent care systems and doctors' offices from a CDC guided cleaning. And so that's what we do. Our niche is the healthcare industry. We will serve anybody that would, want a value-based ultra clean of their facilities, sanitizing and disinfection. But our niche is the medical industry.
Gotcha. And then also something that I noticed that was unique about your franchise that you're with in particular is you have a whole geographical location that's assigned just to your company, right?
Yeah, actually, when you come in with our Next Clean, with the Next Clean franchise, you get a huge territory. Actually, we service the entire state of Delaware, South Jersey, and Eastern Maryland, and that's exclusive. Nobody else can do business with a Next Clean franchise in my location unless I authorized it, or we have a some kind of agreement. But that's exclusive to the franchise owner.
That's cool, man. So, and as y'all know, over the years, I kind of shifted my gears a little bit in regards to franchises. However, there always are some exceptions out there, and I think it sounds like Next Clean might be an exception. So, if that sounds interesting to you, make sure y'all look into that and tell them Sean sent you, by the way. So, but
yeah, sure. Let them know you connected with me, Sean Richards, and we'll bring you in at a nice discount, man.
Absolutely. Now, do you remember how long it took you to get your first account right after you started your company?
Yeah, so when we started in September of, I think, 2018, we signed the agreement. We're up and running, just getting situated. And that's where I actually started digging in deep to AJ Simmons, Clean Biz Network, right? And going over your videos. And one day, something struck me, man. You said, yo, guys, you can read a lot, you can listen to this, my podcast all day long, but you got to actually get out there and go grinding. You got to go out there and meet the customers and let them know that you're in the field. So I just took it upon myself that morning. I think it was a Sunday night and a Monday morning. I'm like, you know what? If AJ Simmons said this is how it's done, and he has prior experience, I'm new. I'm going out there. And I went out there that morning, and I littered, a nice portion of South Jersey with my marketing material. And then I went back into the office. I'm like, yeah, I got it done. And as the next day, man, I think that was that Tuesday morning, I got a call from a number in New Jersey. And when I looked at it, I'm like, well, this is a New Jersey number. This has to be a client and a customer. Mm-hmm. And it was. They were asking me, they said they received my marketing material yesterday and they want to know when I can come in for a walkthrough. So that was the beginning of our business, actually, from a recurring revenue standpoint. Listening to your video and just getting out there and littering the community with my marketing material and meeting a ton of people. And we landed business immediately. Our first initial contract was 3 facilities at once. And I remember you sending an email when I posted it. You said, well, look, you're going to get a ton of more contracts just based on that. And as a result, we are up to 13 sites in that particular network just from executing that day and receiving our initial contracts.
Wow, that's huge, man. So, and speaking of that, so your first contract, it sounds like you actually got that on your own, or did the franchise get that?
Yeah, I got that on my own. Just hustling and grinding. No help from a franchise as far as they telling me where to go or any leads. I just took your advice and I went and I put that to task. I executed on that and that yielded fruit. So I'm living proof, number one, that the man knows what he's talking about. I know a lot of people know that the man knows what he's talking about, but I actually executed on it and found results. That's what makes it so impactful for me. Because I just listened to you, man. I read books and you have your trepidations in the beginning about, wow, can I execute on this? And I just went for it. Like, what do I have to lose? I went out there and I got contracts based on your advice. And I got to be thankful for that, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you for recognizing that. I appreciate that. And by the way, just now, you just mentioned that you went back to your office. And I want to point that out too, because I noticed that you got an actual office from the beginning. And so can you speak a little bit on like what made you do that and how it kind of, like what kind of impact you think they had on your company as a whole?
Yeah, in the beginning, I had a workspace, one of these co-working spaces, because I know when I started the business, I was at home, right? And I was like not executing the way I should be executed because I'm in the comfort of my home. I'm distracted. My wife is there. The kids are running around. And I'm not feeling like I'm a business owner. I'm like, I am a business owner, but, excuse me, but just being able to be out, excuse me, man, Just being able to be out of the house put me in a different mindset. I was energized to go into that office space and now be in that mindset to execute. It wasn't very expensive. It was like $200 a week or something like that. But it definitely put me in that space, my mindset for business, and not being able to say, take breaks because I'm at home. Oh, you know what I mean? Let me go watch the TV. No distraction. So I was in that work mode, and that helped me a lot until I actually hired people and found a cheap office space in my state.
That's facts, because I actually, I got my first office just in 2019, and same exact result, man. Like, I got so focused, I started hitting numbers I never hit. I was more productive, and so I just really wanted you to point that out, so that way people who, if you got an extra, $800 a month or 1,000 or whatever it might cost in your area to get the office, do it. I'm telling you, it'll make a difference in your company for sure. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit, and I want to ask you this. So, did you quit your job right away when
By
you?
the way, I have to get into that because that's another something I struggled with, watching you as well and seeing how you did it. You were advising people, I think you guys should do it differently because I quit my job. I remember you saying that before you should have done it according to you. But and I'm like, well, if AJ did it from the get-go, that means he has some stomach for this thing. Why would I hold on to my job that I didn't like, that kept me on lockdown and I wasn't able to flourish? Should I actually wait till I have 6 months of I would say income or you say a plan before you get out there, have about 6 months of living expenses? I'm like, I'm not that dude. I need to go now, right? So I was working Uber on the weekends, and I knew I could make money outside of the job by just using my card and make money. So I just jumped from the get-go. My youngest son was born, and I took some leave to, be home with the kids, and my wife helped her out. And I'm like, when the day I was supposed to go back to work, I told my wife, I said, baby, I think this is it, So I put on a suit and a tie. She was supporting me 100%. And I went into the job the day I was supposed to return to work, and I submitted a letter of resignation. They looked at me like I was crazy. Yo, what are you doing, man? You got like 4 kids. You just had another baby and you just gonna quit? I say I'm out, because I wanted to experience the entrepreneur life. And if I couldn't go out there and get it out of the mud like you did, then that journey wasn't for me. So I quit, and I went working Uber full time in Philadelphia, because I live in Delaware. It's about an hour away from me. And that opened up the doors to me, right? That put my mind in a different mindset. It freed me from the structure of the 9-to-5 grind and allowed me to start seeing opportunities, meeting people, and being free from that structure, being able to make money on my own. And that was a different kind of feeling, man, that allowed me to say, well, if I can make money on my own without somebody breathing down my neck, then I can definitely be in business. So that freed me from that 9-to-5 rigors. It was a struggle. Don't mind me. I'm not going to lie to you. Making money and not having the predictability and the stability of the paycheck. But I went hard, I spent 3 days in my car without going home at times, because I was hungry for it. And I got a lot of that from you. And so I went like that, and I paid my bills, I even got my car repossessed at one point. But I was willing to give up anything for a chance of successful business ownership and building generational wealth. So I did not listen to you. You didn't do that neither. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it to the test, because I think we have a lot of gifts and a lot of opportunities to achieve big goals. And if you just grind with unyielding determination, you can't lose. You can't lose.
That's huge, man. And first off, before I go any further, before I forget, shout out to Miss Sean Richards. Shout out to your wife, man, for being supportive. And that's key for us. Like, if they roll with you, that's like that extra battery in your back. So shout out to your wife, man. And also, like, I remember, man, you would message me and you would tell me the stories about you being out there Ubering. And I used to feel so bad. Like, I felt guilty almost, because it's like, man, and I don't know why I felt guilty because like you said, I grind. I did the same exact thing. I did. I'm talking about sun up to sundown,
Yeah.
and every day nonstop just to get over that hump. But I still feel guilty. Like, dang, I don't want people going through that. But it paid off apparently because. So now, I think what you're doing about well, tell us what you're doing right now as far as growth monthly income.
I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that a little bit?
So you had about what 13 grand a month in gross revenue?
Yeah. So we started with our initial contracts, and that grew. Once we started executing in the space, we just upped the level of what they were doing in the industry in that area, right? A lot of players were in there just milking companies, man, not really executing. So we just came in hungry, and we just gave them what they expected and more than they expected. So our first contracts, our initial contracts were 3 units, 3 urgent care systems, and that just kept growing and growing. We started getting referrals from other managers in the same network that was calling us because they heard about what we were doing in the network. So we started growing, and when the contracts started coming, we just started executing on those, and then we got up to like 13 contracts. We went for the pie. One time we submitted a proposal trying to get the executives on board to seal off the whole network, but they put a stopper on us because it's like, who's these new guys just coming and just gobbling up everything? We just hearing about them from all over the place. So they started saying, okay, you guys got to wait. We're going to have to come to the table with some kind of master discussion. So all that's in process, and, we going in and out of these meetings, but you never know where you're going to end up once you start executing. The key is go out there, get your first bid, blow their mind away, and let the referrals come to you. And we're up to 13 grand a month at this point. Recurring, we get a lot of contracts, which are private work, project work from hospitals, which can run us, we can yield off a $20,000, $15,000 probably sometimes off of one project based on what the hospital would want. But our recurring customers that we bill every month, we're up to $13,000.
Yeah, and then it was like 185 for over 12 months because of the actual special service and stuff you were doing, right?
Yeah, we got up to 185 at the closing of the year. It should have been more, but this is one thing I want to say. We got some contracts initially from a hospital that our franchise office was servicing, and since we bought the territory, it came to us. But what I did is I took a chill pill. I'm like, well, I got income coming in already. Let me just, relax and let that come. And that's the mistake. Anytime you get comfortable, bang, it's going to come out of nowhere and hit you. We lost that contract after about 4 months, right? Never get complacent. I want to say to anybody that's listening, attack it every day like you don't have no work, right? Because you never know what's going to happen in the future. So when we lost that contract, I went ballistic. I just went hard in the streets, and I went grinding. And then we got the revenue base back up.
That's fact. And look, everybody in Clean Biz Network can vouch for you because we see you put the videos up, you'll go live for us in the group with your suit on, all full battle rattle. And I mean, you be out there every day grinding. Going door to door, do what you got to do, man. So,
yeah.
And what do you think was the key, to your growth to get to that level so fast? You already at 6 figures, well above 6 figures, so fast. What do you think if you had to say with one key to it, what do you think that is?
Self-confidence, executing, right? You can't exceed your highest expectation. So for us and for me, I had to realize that I want to achieve something huge, and I build up my confidence levels in order to go out there and speak to businesses on an equal footing. Like, I'm not a little company, but I am a small company, but I'm going to service you like if we are any other huge entity out there. We can execute because small companies displace large companies every day, small startups. So once I got that in my mind, and I realized it's an execution and a confidence game. They can smell the blood in the water. If you show up and you're not believing in what you're doing, you can't expect managers or of decision makers to believe in what you're doing. So once I was confident and was able to put in the work now to match that hunger, we grew exponentially.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you this. I can see, because I see your stuff when you post on Facebook. Shout out to your Mind Capital brand that you're building up, and I see your kids up there, and I can tell by the age of your kids that you're not in your 20s anymore, right? With that said, how do you keep that relentlessness and that energy, that you have at this point in your life?
Yeah, well, man, I'm 42 years old, and I'm hungry and I'm driven because I know I'm building something from the ground up. And I know I had to have a high energy, amounts of energy to execute on that. So I'll tell you a story. Like about a year ago, I started running. I started, taking jogs out there, trying to, motivate myself and free my mind from, that self-defeating talk. And when my first time jogging, I couldn't even do half a mile out there, right? I would feel like I would faint. And I saw you always in the gym. I read a lot of entrepreneurs. I look at what they're doing. They're always exercising and motivated. So I know key for me to be able to execute at a high level and have energy, I had to, get my mind, my body, and my spirits in sync with my mission. So that's my key immediately. I started jogging, putting in those miles, working, keep going until I'm up to like 10 miles a day at this point. From a year ago, the other day, I put in 15, and the first day of the year, I ran my first 5K, and then we're planning to do my first half marathon in a couple of months. But being motivated with a mission will drive you to the moon, right? You have the energy to do it, and the mission is clear because you've seen it been done with by other people. And if other people couldn't do it, you can do it. So I just push myself forward. I already have results, so there's no way for me not to think that the sky's the limit. Anything else is possible, but you have to be motivated and driven. I have 4 kids, and I want them to own a business and build generational wealth. So I know I have to be leading the pack, and I cannot be asleep at the wheel.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to give some of our current owners a little bit of value. I think we gave enough to the people just looking in, trying to decide if they want to get started or not. Let's go to the people who's already rolling a little bit and talk about the biggest obstacle in this business, which of course is the employee part, right? So first, let's start with, how are you finding your employees to hire?
I do post on Indeed.com and other platforms, Craigslist, for employees. In my neck of the woods, I think that there's a lot of people on Indeed looking for work. And so once I submit, post a job opening on Indeed and Craigslist, I do get a ton of candidates. And then I just go through the process and vet these candidates. But of course, it's not free. You do pay a small fee depending on, how many people you're looking for. But you can also budget, right? You can also set a budget, like you're not going to go over $10 a day or something like that. So that helps me a lot. Anytime we want employees, we just open the pipeline and you just get recurring applicants coming in from Indeed.com and Craigslist.
So I've seen some of your videos. I've seen some of your pictures of your team on Facebook. They look happy. You know what I mean? So can you share some of your tips as far as managing employees?
Well, I'm highly motivated and energetic, so I bring that to them. I bring that to the field. I paint a vision for them. I expose them to my energy, and sometimes it rubs off on them. They can see this guy's hungry, this guy's motivated. This is a young company that's going to grow, and they want to be part of that mission. So that definitely helps me motivate my team members. And the management part is just being honest with them. So in my interview process, I set it up as a partnership, like a business agreement. I always say, hey, I've been in a corporate where I don't want to interview, ask you 20 questions, and you give me answers because, you can tell me whatever I want to hear. I did that from time to time when I was looking for jobs. But here's what I want to do for you as an employee. This is what I'm doing. And if you feel you can work with this, and we're in agreement of what I expect, and you believe in that you are going to be paid a fair wage, and you have an opportunity to grow. If we agree, let's do business. If not, you know, let's walk away from each other, not in anger, not in hatred, but you know, I would like if even if you decide you don't want to work with us anymore, you can always say, hey, Sean, I probably don't want to work with you anymore. I got other things going on, but here's a referral, right? Here's my friend, he's looking for a job. I want to develop an open relationship with my employees on an honesty level, you know, be honest with what I want and how I want it, and we being able to communicate that with my employees, paint a good picture for them, give them a vision, and then incentivize them for good work. It's not just cut and dry, as you know. It's a lot of challenges in the industry with employees, but you will find those individuals and those people that really want to grow and believe in what you're doing, and will latch on and will grow with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so can you talk a little bit about at being a franchise owner? You know, people from outside looking in always just assume that if you're with a franchise, you got all the support you need, everything's taken care of for you, but that's not really the case. You know, that's not really the case. So how has being in Clean Biz Network helped you in addition to being with a franchise?
Yeah, well, so the franchise, as you had said in the past, this franchise is a business partner with you, and they're not your friend. Not saying you can't become friends, but you're in a relationship, a business relationship. So you have to understand and get support from business coaches, if you can, or other mentors and groups like CBN to help push your business forward. Because a man without a plan or business without a plan becomes part of somebody else's plan. So being at CBN gave me a third eye, an open opinion, an experience that I couldn't get from a franchise, because they'll give me you know, their opinion and what's working for them, but I need to get a bigger picture of what's going on. So CBN give me the resources that I need to see outside of that framework, and definitely be aware of other business owners in the network that are growing businesses, and take best practices and implement them in my business for the benefit of my company. And of course, you know, you have the lead generation, and when I'm slipping and I think I need support, I just come to you and I implement your strategies and execute on that. And I even bought I guess I leads from you in the beginning as well. And I landed contracts from the get-go. So I know that works. Of course, I had, you know, took on so many different things. I started getting overwhelmed, not being able to go on walkthroughs and that kind of stuff. So I paused it. But it's like this, it's so flexible that anytime you need to ramp stuff up, the framework is there. Put that thing, you know, on pause your program, and let it run, and just go execute. You know, it's a wonderful set of tools that you provided for us out there, man.
Yeah, and that's just true, man. Like some people, they'll ask me how much does the leads cost, and I tell them, okay, it's $100 for an appointment. They're like, $100 for one appointment? I'm like, do you realize the ROI on one appointment? Like, first of all, it takes, I don't know how many doors to knock on or how many calls to make just to get an appointment. So like people don't, sometimes they miss the value in it, but I appreciate you pointing out you can really just cut it on and you win. So I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, man. I've got a couple more questions for you. And for the people that's on the sideline waiting, thinking about it, overthinking about it, scared to jump, what would you say to that person?
Well, I would say just what you had told me in the beginning. Just do it. Just do it, right? Pull the trigger, right? You can watch all the videos. You can read all the books. But until you jump in the water, you will never know how cold it is or how warm it is, and you won't know how to swim. So just do it. I didn't stack up 6 months of expenses or 3 months of expenses and have a nice cushion. I just jumped. And because of that, not having that cushion, I was able to be hungrier out there, to know, well, there's no option. I burned the boats in the beginning, and there's no going back to the shore. So you got to win. You got to make this happen. You got to make this work. And then that brings out a whole new human being in you. So if anybody's watching on the sidelines wondering I would say to you, stop wondering and just pull the trigger and see what happens. I guarantee you're going to win. You're going to obtain, you're going to be in a better place than you were before.
That's facts, man. You heard it from the man himself. And we ain't telling you jump and the parachute just gonna open up automatically. You know what I mean? Like you probably hit a rock or two. You're gonna struggle a little bit. You might have the Uber, you know what I mean, if you just jump automatically and quit that job. But on the other side of that, it could be 13 grand a month for you. You know what I mean? Within a couple 16 months, you started 16 months ago.
Yeah.
And so that could be you watching this, you know what I mean? And I'm saying, is it going to be? That's up to you. You got to figure that out. But it could be. And as long as you keep sitting on the sideline, it can be. So I just got to add on to that, man. Because Sean Richards, he motivated everybody, man. He got me ready to make a video now for y'all, man. But what would you want your legacy to be, man, before you leave this earth? What do you want that legacy to be?
Well, I want to grow a business from the ground up, number one, and own some different businesses as well. But my main thing is, making sure my family is straight and giving them the opportunity to be big business owners. But one of the things that drives me, man, is exposing a lot of minorities to the possibility of becoming business owners. I think we usually think that's a game that we can't get into because we don't have any knowledge of that, or we don't see a lot of people like us in owning businesses. And I want to say to you, we have to get into the business ownership game. So if I can expose anybody to the awareness of becoming business owners and building generational wealth for their families, that's one of the things and one of my main goals, motivating people and so that they can see themselves in a role as an owner of a business, an investor, just a all-around successful human being. So my legacy is building generational wealth, breaking the curses, right? The poverty curse, man, the poverty mindset, and influencing people around the globe to take the jump into the leap of entrepreneurship and build generational wealth for their families.
That's what's up, man. Mr. Sean Richards, y'all. How can we follow your journey and get more of that mind capital from you?
Well, you can check me out on YouTube, Mind Capital. We are on YouTube at this point. We're gonna open up the page and make it public. You can also follow me on my Facebook page, Sean Richards. Send me a friend request. I'll let you in. Because right now we're just laying the groundworks to go public and with our brand, the Mind Capital, a motivational entrepreneurship journey. And for now, you can find me on Facebook as Sean Richards. And if you do a search on YouTube for Mind Capital, that should pop up. But we're in the process of building that out and making that public. I got one more thing I want to say to you. Say to the people that's watching. Especially if you're hung up on price with regards to lead generation service, right? I put money out there to get money in, so you got to make an investment. And anytime I invest in my cold calling team or with AJ Simmons and lead generation, that will come back to me when you land contracts. So you could put $400 or $500 out there, but you can make $12,000 a year from it. So that's one of the things I want to emphasize. And that's what I did. I put bids out there. You put some bids out there for me, and we landed one contract from that. And then I opened up, I implemented your cold calling, what do you call it, in-house lead generation team. And that landed me a total of about $6,500 in contracts from spending about $800. So the numbers are real, and Clean Biz Network knows what they're doing. AJ Simmons is a proven, tested strategy for people who are thinking about opening and starting cleaning businesses and helping people become successful. So I got to make sure and say kudos to you. Thank you for having me on board. But I don't think I would have done it if I hadn't seen your video, because I needed real proof that, we're, people out there building legit businesses, and you were real with it. And I just based on what I saw you were doing. I jumped, and here I am today. You know, 185 grand. You know, from 0 to 185 in 12 months, based on your content, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you coming up here, taking out the time to speak to us, sharing your knowledge, sharing your motivation, sharing your journey. And I'm proud, I'm excited, because I already know where you're gonna go with this thing, man. So can't wait to have you on again, Mr. Sean Richards, y'all.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, and thank you, thank everybody in Clean Biz Network. We just jive with each other, and we're great help, man.
Thank you, man. Hey, y'all join us, man. Y'all talk to us. All right.
Bye.